Phil Henry Show, 1-800-449-8686. 1-800-449-8686. It is the Phil Henry Show. And we have Brad Rivkin with us. He is with Rivkin's World of Health. It's in the San Fernando Valley. We want to talk about a method of training, physical fitness that he calls confrontational and truth-driven training. Brad, how are you tonight?
Phil, I'm really good and enjoying your program this evening as always.
And how are you feeling, man?
Feeling great, and when you're in the fitness business, you're always feeling good, and that is what Rivkin World of Health is about, and that's what our confrontational and truth-driven training is about. And Phil, what we always say, and you know that I've said this on occasion, when we talk about people who have a fitness problem, and really what we're discussing here, the number one thing that people want to do today, I don't know if you noticed it or not, but the manufacturers of FenFit and Redux are being sued. And
yes, I did. I saw the news.
Right. Why? Because there's a lot of people who are interested in losing weight. You can talk about toning, you can talk about building up your muscle, you can talk about aerobic health, but most people, right off the bat, are interested in losing weight. That is what we specialize in. That's what our confrontational and truth-driven training is all about, and I can tell you it's worked for a lot of people.
Now, this is a kind of, you not only have a gym, but you're also a personal trainer, right?
I'm a personal trainer. We have about 15 people on staff who can go out individually to people's homes, businesses, and train through an aerobic style. We use treadmill, we use exercycle, we use road work, we use weights when needed. But I'll tell you right now, you don't start off with weights. You start off with aerobics, and I believe very much in the treadmill. I believe very much in the exercycle, physical fitness, and that is what it's about. Phil, what we say at Rivkin's World of Health, and what we believe in. It's a long, long journey from the refrigerator to the treadmill. It is for some people, 1,000 miles between the refrigerator and the treadmill. But I'm here to tell your listeners tonight, it is entirely possible. You can do it, and you can do it if you confront, and you allow other people, I think, to confront. And that's what we're all about. We have people that we have helped by this confrontational method. And
well, what do you mean by confrontational? This is direct, right? This is truth?
That's right. You don't sugarcoat it. You tell them. But you do it in a way that is not going to put them off. You don't walk up to somebody, for instance, Phil, and say, you know something, you're really fat and you need to lose weight, because that is obviously going to put them off. What you do is you begin to plant the seeds in the minds of that person who is obese or that person who has that weight problem in your life. You begin to plant the seeds that eventually will flower forth into great fitness. One of the people we're working with right now is actually friends of my wife's, who work at her office, and we've become pretty good friends with them. They play cards at our home. We've gone on some vacations together. The wife, her name is Colleen, all right? I'll give you her first name, and she is probably about 40 pounds overweight. Now, they spend time at our home. They come over for cards, maybe sometimes dinner. One night, my wife is serving pesto pasta with bread, and I said to her that this is going to be a temptation for Colleen, because Colleen's about 45 pounds overweight. She's what we call our little butterball, and she really needs to drop some of that weight.
Now, you're not going to walk up to her and say, hey, Colleen.
No, you're not going to say, hey, Colleen, you need to lose weight. But what I do is, every time they come over, I get on the treadmill. We have a treadmill set up. We have an exercycle set up in our living room, so that when Colleen walks into the living room, I'm working on the treadmill. Now, what is that doing? That's planting the seed in her mind that every time she comes over, she sees me on the treadmill, and she sees me on the exercycle. And I'll say to her, hello, Colleen. I make eye contact. It's very important to make eye contact. Hello, Colleen. Working on the treadmill. She'll say, hello, Brad. Every time I'm over here, you're on the treadmill. That's planting the seed in her mind.
All right, but when implanting the seed in somebody's mind by just simply being on a treadmill, there's more, right?
Absolutely, Phil. What you do is you plant these seeds by saying, if you see somebody walk into your home, as I have seen, 30, 40 pounds overweight, really obese, and you say to them, you know, have you seen a treadmill before? Are you interested in a treadmill? Are you interested in an exercycle? Have you thought about that? For instance, they came over for dinner one night. My wife's serving a pasta. We had an argument about that. And
why?
Well, I said, you know, you've got a woman coming over to our home who you know is about 40 pounds overweight, and you're serving up pasta and bread and butter. And we had a little bit of an argument about that. My wife believes, well, you got to treat yourself. I don't think so. So I walk over to the refrigerator. Colleen's standing there. And
now, this is your overweight friend, right?
This is my wife's friend, right.
Okay.
And I said, look at this broccoli. We got broccoli. Let's do something with broccoli tonight. Let's do something with carrots tonight. and I'm making eye contact with her at all times. This is very important, so that even while I'm speaking to my wife, or maybe I'm speaking to Colleen's husband, Richard, I'm looking at Colleen and I'm saying to my wife, let's do something with broccoli, let's do something with carrots, let's do something with salad, celery, let's do some things, but I'm making eye contact.
So you're staring right at the obese woman?
Staring at the woman who has the weight problem, right. And I'll say to Colleen, would you like to try out the treadmill? Have you tried out an exercise cycle? Never, ever saying to her, I think you're overweight, because you don't want to put the people off that way. You don't want to put them in a defensive position. But one of the things I do say is, it's a long way from the refrigerator to the treadmill. But the journey of 1,000 miles, Phil, begins with one step. And I'll be working on the treadmill, and I'll gradually sending the message. Hey, Colleen, have you ever seen one of these? Have you seen an exercise cycle? Because I need to break through with her. I go over to the refrigerator. We've got a lot of broccoli tonight. Let's have some broccoli or something. Her birthday was last week. Colleen's birthday was last week, Phil. What we did was we got her a dance skin.
Workout clothes.
Workout kind of dance skin with some workout shoes. And we gave her this. We had a birthday dinner for her. You got to have a birthday cake, okay?
All right, now you've got an overweight friend that you've invited over to your house, trying to steer her toward the treadmill, trying to get her onto the exercise cycle. Now you're serving, and you've given her a dance skin.
Gave her some workout clothes, right.
Now you are serving birthday cake.
Well, here's what we do. As soon as she cuts into the birthday cake with her fork, I turn the discussion towards sit-ups. Okay? This is what I mean about the subliminal message.
All right, so she's eating the cake.
She's eating the cake, and I said to my wife, I'm up to 100 sit-ups today. I'm up to 100 sit-ups. I'm talking to my wife, but I'm making eye contact with Colleen. So that as she is shoveling, and I say shoveling, I say that with great affection, but that's the first thing you do in breaking through. You
refer to her eating as shoveling?
She's shoveling, right. And as she's shoveling the birthday cake in, I say, I'm up to 100 sit-ups, but I'm talking to my wife. My wife's name's Vicky. I say, Vicky, I'm up to 100 sit-ups, but I'm looking at Colleen, and she can't help but look at me. So as she shovels that birthday cake in, guess what's happening?
Is she feeling guilty?
She's starting to feel the guilt. That's exactly right. And that's where the confrontational technique begins to work. So as she shovels that birthday cake down, I look at her and I say, I'm up to 100 sit-ups. Hey, let's get on the treadmill. And she starts to, now she realizes that she's shoveling that cake in, and she's shoveling down that birthday cake. And I'm talking about sit-ups. I'm talking about treadmills. I'm talking about exercise cycle. We gave her a dance skin. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Well, I imagine now she's beginning to get the subliminal message, or not so subliminally, that she's overweight.
Yeah, but nobody has ever said anything to her like, you're fat, you need to lose weight. So that's where it begins, and that's where our technique begins. I'd be happy to help any of your listeners who've got a weight problem this evening. We'll also discuss further how things have moved along with Colleen, and I think it'll be very interesting.
All right, it's the Phil Hendrie Show. Brad Rifkin is with us here, 1-800-449-8686.
先生一齊飛行，我哋現在正係響3萬尺高空中飛翔。順便告訴大家 ，Chopstick， 我哋今晚嘅特別嘉賓係 Jackie Chan 先生，仲有一提嘅係 Fortune Cookie。And now, here's Phil.
It's the Phil Hendrie Show, 1-800-449-8686. We're talking about health tonight with Brad Rifkin, who is the owner of Rifkin's World of Health in the San Fernando Valley, and he is talking to us about what he calls confrontational, truth-driven training. Now, for instance, in the case of a friend of your wife's, she's overweight by about 40 pounds, Brad.
That's correct.
And she comes over to the house, and you're on the exercise cycle.
And I'm on the exercise cycle, or I'm on the treadmill, and every time that I want to make a point with her, I make eye contact, and I say to her, let's have some broccoli, let's have some cauliflower. And I say to her, I'm doing sit-ups. This is every time she puts a, so she starts, and I use the word shovel, okay? And
why do you use the word shovel?
Because for people who have a weight problem, and for people who are dealing with this the battle with weight, you start to have to influence them by using language that is not so subtle and might not be so flattering. So if I'm talking to somebody who is overweight, I'll say, well, you're shoveling the birthday cake as opposed to you're eating the birthday cake. You are shoveling or siphoning the pasta as opposed to eating the pasta. And I never forget one night Colleen was over to our house. She was putting butter on a piece of sourdough bread, some French bread.
Right.
And she's putting the butter on it. And I said, would you like to shovel some more butter? And it was very, very subtle. Okay, but she looked up at me, and I could see there was just a hint of recognition.
You were offering her more butter?
I said, do you want to shovel a little more butter? Use the word shovel. Suddenly, they realized that they're not just eating. They're like a steam shovel, sucking that down. And this makes them realize, okay, what they're doing, and that's what we're talking about. Now, we have had a breakthrough with Colleen. We gave her the dance skin for her birthday. We've given the impression to her that she does need to do something about her weight. And by the way, her husband said to me to lay off, and I said, I don't lay off the confrontational method, because she started to get some tears in her eyes one night. I said, those tears don't indicate that I've upset her. Those tears indicate that I'm hitting the truth, Phil, and that's very, very important.
All right, let's go to Greenville on the Phil Hendry Show. Hello.
Yes, hello.
Yes, sir.
I gotta say that I gotta disagree with Mr. Rifkin. Instead of beating around the bush, he should offer her a membership maybe to his health club. Tell her, she knows she's overweight.
I don't think she does because of the way she eats.
Yeah, but that's the disease. It's a disease. Overweight's a disease. Instead of saying have some broccoli and showing her on the bike, say, be truthful with her.
Well, that's going to put her off. What you do is very subtly say, you want to shovel some more food, that kind of thing, because I believe that is it's confrontational and direct, but it doesn't put them off. Are you in fitness?
I'm not in fitness, but I work out 4 or 5 times a week.
All right.
Give her a membership to your gym.
No, that's not going to work. You give her a membership to the gym, she's going to reject that. But if you very subtly say to her, something, for instance, I'll give you an example, all right? She put the dance skin on. We had a breakthrough with her. She went out jogging with us a couple of weeks ago. She had on a dance skin. Now, obviously, a woman that's 40 pounds overweight, what do you think she looks like in a dance skin?
I don't want to think about that.
Yeah, that's not too good, right? But we carry a piece of chalk. And what I do with the chalk is I will circle areas on that black dance skin. Here, look at this here. Here's some area here you need to work on. Here's some area here you need to work on. And you know the biggest area for women to work on, don't you?
The thighs?
The thighs and the rear end, right?
Right.
So you draw a big circle on that rear end, like it's a target. And what I do is I draw a big target on a rear end there, and I say that's the target. That's what we're working on. It makes them think about that.
Is she jogging down the street with us?
Jogging down the street with a big target on her ass, okay, so that she knows that's the target. That's what we're working on.
Overeating and weight problems is a disease.
Well, that may very well be, but it's a discipline and character problem. A lot of these people who are overweight, their character is suffering.
Right, it's a low self-esteem.
Well, more than that, there's a morality problem.
I just think
okay, there's a low moral...
what do you mean low morality?
Well, they're not the best people, okay? They're morally bankrupt in some areas, so they've got to raise themselves up. That's what we're trying to do. You paint that target on a woman. Do you have a girlfriend, sir, or a wife?
Yes, I do.
All right, she works out with you?
Yes, she does.
Well, do you have friends who might want to work out with you that are overweight?
I do have overweight friends.
All right.
And I encourage them to come to the gym with me, and I encourage them to work out with me. I don't tell them to stop shoveling the butter and that, make sure they see me on the treadmill when I'm at my house. I just think that...
How's your wife look?
I don't have a wife. I have a girlfriend.
How's she looking?
I think she looks great.
All right, but, if you were to paint a target on the ass of one of her fat friends, she got any fat friends?
Yeah, she's got some overweight friends.
All right, you get them into a dance skin. You get a piece of yellow chalk. You can buy that at any hobby store, okay? And you paint that big bullseye on the ass.
I'll just embarrass her.
I'm sorry?
That'll just embarrass her.
No, that gives her the target. She wants to lose weight there. Okay?
And what are you doing? You're jogging down the street with her?
You let her jog down the street, right. With a target painted on her ass.
You're going to have people laughing at her with this big target on her ass.
No, you're not.
It's going to make her feel even worse.
No, you're not. You're going to have the... First of all, you're not jogging with her, okay? You understand that?
Oh, you're not jogging with her.
No, she's got to jog maybe 10 steps behind until she starts to lose the weight, and the more weight she loses, the closer she can get to you guys.
Well, I agree with you.
All right, so it'll motivate her to decrease the size of that target.
I agree with the jogging part, but I don't agree with the subliminal messages.
Well, I'll tell you.
So you got her, she's jogging 10 feet behind?
You don't want to have some big fat broad, jogging with you. You keep her 10 feet behind until she starts to lose the weight. Then you let her move up closer.
Right, that's not what I disagree with. I disagree with the shovel and the butter and stuff like that.
All right.
That's just rude.
You should try it. because we do believe in a direct approach, but I appreciate your call.
All right, sir, thank you very much. Here is Sherman Oaks on the Phil Hendry Show. Hello.
Hi, this is Patrick.
Yes, Patrick, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing, Phil?
Fine.
Nice to hear your show. I heard the first hour, enjoyed it, and this is an interesting topic, and I totally disagree with your guest there.
Is that it?
Yeah, well, I just don't feel that those are good methods, and I don't think there's any subtle way to tell somebody about the fact that they're shoveling in food in their mouth.
Well, I don't know. I'm getting a lot of people calling here. What's your expertise?
My expertise is, as I've been in recovery from alcoholism for about 12 years.
What's that got to do with fitness?
What it got to do with it is people are not going to do a lot of exercise. Well, let's put it this way.
Are you drinking? You stopped drinking, right?
I did.
All right, so somebody can stop eating.
Right, but I'm not disagreeing.
And
with
how did you stop drinking? How did you
people
stop
can do
drinking?
good things for themselves.
You just
I'm
stopped
disagreeing
drinking.
with your methods.
What's wrong with my method?
Because your methods aren't subtle and they're hurtful. They're not going to help anybody, and people that don't want to do it are not going to do it anyway.
What is hurtful? You got to be specific. What's hurtful about my method?
It's telling people that they're shoveling food in their mouth. I mean, come on. And you just called
well, let me ask you
fat
something.
women fat 3 different times in the last conversation with the last caller. I mean, come on.
If you were an alcoholic,
if
you were drinking, and I said to you, what's your name, Jimmy?
Patrick.
Patrick, if I said to you, Patrick, you're really sucking that booze down, wouldn't that make them send a message to you?
I'd say something to you that I can't say over the radio when I was drinking.
Oh,
now you can say whatever you want about it because I fixed my problem.
You had to quit, didn't you?
Pardon me?
You had to quit because you were sucking that hooch down.
That's true, and now you can say anything you want. Now I'm talking about...
Right, but I'm talking about somebody who's in the throes of eating too much. She's shoveling down the butter. She's shoveling down all that bread and pasta. I got her out there in a dance skin. She's finally jogging, okay? So look at what I've done. I've got her out exercising. I'm not going to let her jog with me.
And put a target on her ass and not let her jog with you? What are you afraid of?
No, it's never that I'm afraid of. No, I'm not afraid of her. I'm not afraid of anything. I
think you are.
I will not allow her. I will not allow her to be jogging with us until such time as she loses her weight.
I don't buy that.
It'd be just like when you were drinking, we wouldn't let you in our house until you stopped drinking. Okay, people wouldn't want you around. All right, that's what I'm talking about. So if you're drinking too much, who wants you at the party? Okay, and if you're eating too much, why would anybody want you around? So she can jog 10 feet behind me, and she'll get the message that until such time...
The guy hung up.
Well, of course he hung up. Because he's an alcoholic who doesn't understand that the very things that got him to stop drinking are the things that I'm trying to get these people to do, all right? Now, if a guy's drinking too much, you want him in your house? No, you don't. If someone is fat, you don't want them jogging with you. And
all right, so you keep this person 10 feet behind you when she's jogging.
With a target painted on her ass, and I'll tell you why, Phil.
Isn't that humiliating, though? And isn't that what the caller is talking about?
I don't think so. I'm not trying to humiliate her.
Then why do you have a target painted on her rear end?
To let her know the target is to get that fat off of her ass as fast as she possibly can. And the more fat she drops from her ass, the more she can move up toward us until, like if she loses 10 pounds, she can move up a couple of feet until she's finally jogging with us. Okay, so you get that fat girl who always wanted to be jogging with some really physically fit people, because you've seen people jogging, haven't you?
I've seen physically fit people.
Yeah, and they look very impressive, don't they?
Well, I've seen a lot of people running down the street who are in pretty good shape, yeah.
All right. I mean, a lot of people would like to look like that, and I don't think there's anybody listening to your show tonight that wouldn't want to be allowed to jog or train with really physically fit people. I mean, a lot of people see physically fit people running down the street. I think, God, I wish that I could get out of my car and be seen with them. But you can't be seen with somebody that physically fit until you start to drop all of the fat off of your rear end, off of your thighs, and that's what we do.
All right, our number is 1-800-449-8686, 1-800-449-8686. We're talking to Brad Rifkin of Rifkin's World of Health about his technique called confrontational or truth-driven training. And what you do basically is you feed these messages to the overweight people who come to your house that they're overweight by saying, have you ever seen an exercycle?
That's correct.
And if they're, for instance, sitting down to have something to eat, you bring up sit-ups.
Start talking about sit-ups and make eye contact.
You also mentioned that if you're in the kitchen and they're about ready to prepare some pasta, you make eye contact and talk about broccoli.
All of these things, Phil, Phil, designed to get these people into a mindset where they need to be. They got to drop that fat. Now, once you get them into a dance skin is very tight. You put a dance skin on a woman that's 40 pounds overweight, that's rough. That's pretty rough to look at, but that's okay.
And what do you mean rough to look at?
She comes walking out of the house. It's hard not to laugh. But what you do is you take that yellow chalk and...
All right, the lady has come out of her house in a dance skin. She's already gotten up the courage to do that, and you're circling the fat areas with a piece of yellow chalk.
You circle the fat areas, and you paint a big target on the rear end. And then you say to her, Colleen, because you're 40 pounds overweight, you can't jog with us yet. But once you start to get better looking, then we'll let you jog with us. Once the ass fat begins to diminish, that target gets smaller, the closer you get. And then finally she gets to jog with us, and the target drops off the ass. It's as simple as that.
All right, Brad Rifkin, 1-800-449-8686. It's tough. I don't know that it's tough love, man, but it sure is tough stuff to paint a target on someone's rear end as they jog down the street in a dance skin. It's the Phil Hendrie Show, 1-800-449-8686. On getting people to lose weight that a lot of people are taking exception to, Brad.
I understand that.
You are, painting targets on their rear ends. You got them in a dance skin. You won't let them jog with you.
All of this, Phil, is designed to bring them into an awareness of themselves. I will tell you that Colleen, and let me just give you the story on Colleen, and we'll go to another call. Colleen has started to lose the weight. Okay, we're allowing her to get closer and closer to us as we jog. The target on her ass is getting smaller, and I'll tell you something. We're now into step 2 with her. We've had a breakthrough with her, and
she's not humiliated.
She was early on, but she recognizes what she needs, what I need from her. And I brought her into the house, and I walked her over. We had Jed from the store came in with a Stairmaster, put it in the living room. And I walked her over to the Stairmaster, and I said, Colleen, I need for you to tell me, what do you think this is? There was a flicker of recognition in her eyes. She looked around it. She walked around it. I said, this is a Stairmaster. And I could see the flicker of recognition in her eyes. She recognized it as a piece of physical fitness equipment, and we made a breakthrough. That's what we're talking about. I'm not into abusing people. I'm into getting them to see the truth.
All right, let's go to San Dimas on the Phil Hendrie Show. Hello.
Hi.
Yes, hi.
Brad.
Yes, ma'am.
First of all, I'd like to let you know that I am a female that's 35 years of age.
How much do you weigh?
I was 100 pounds overweight.
Wow.
I am down. Wait a minute.
No, good for you. How much did you lose?
First of all, Brad, let me talk. I'm down to about 30 pounds from my goal. Now, first of all, I think bringing to awareness, you have a very abusive personality, and I think Colleen probably likes the chains and the whips at night. The bottom
Whatever.
line
I'm not commenting on the lady's sexuality. You are. Why don't you have a little class? That's very classless of you to say something like that.
No, it's not classless.
It's totally classless of you.
I think that your methodology is classless. Because
you're the one that you're bringing up chains and whips. What's that got to do with anything? I'm talking
because
about.
First of all, anytime that she would stand and allow you to abuse her verbally by telling her in front of friends, families, or other kind that she's shoveling butter or shoveling spaghetti.
But you know what I'm talking about. Well, you are 100 pounds overweight. You know what I'm talking about, right?
You know what? I do understand. I do understand that there are certain issues that are in people's lives.
How much did you shovel?
Cause them at one time or another to become overweight.
Well, that's a long-winded way.
Lack of self-esteem.
That's a long-winded way of saying you were shoveling.
Is very weak, and I think that you need to go to school. You need.
All right, we got a lot of people. Hold on, we have a lot of people talking over each other here, and if we can have a dialogue.
No, but the lady said she was 100 pounds overweight at one point. She, of all people, knows what I'm talking about when I say shovel it down, right? You know what I'm talking about.
Come on, Brad. Wait a minute.
Let me ask you this.
First of all,
let me ask you
it depends on the metabolism.
Right, hold on a minute. Hold on. You know what a Stairmaster is, right?
Yes, I know what a Stairmaster is.
When you were overweight, did you...
Hello?
Yes, when you were overweight, when you were 100 pounds overweight, as you have admitted to us here, did you recognize a Stairmaster? Did you know what that was for?
I I knew exactly what it was for.
You did.
But I didn't use a Stairmaster to lose my 80 pounds.
Well, what do you mean that Colleen had a flicker of recognition?
Because the more fat she had hanging off of her ass, the less the ability to recognize a piece of workout equipment. Okay?
You know what? I think, I really
Now,
think...
wait a second. And when we finally got her down, and we got her weight down 30 pounds, she started to, oh, look at that. I got it. It's a treadmill. Okay?
But, Brad, it didn't come from you.
How about you?
It didn't come from embarrassment.
You know what
It came from her decision to want to lose the weight. I don't think that you don't have to be embarrassed into losing weight.
Did you ever get a target painted on your ass?
No, and you know what?
Well, then why would you...
my husband would. I wish my husband would.
Paint a target on your ass?
Paint a target on my ass.
You know something? You know, that's a very healthy instinct. And that's what we're talking about. We're talking about your husband zeroing in on your ass, but before he can zero in on your ass, you got to zero in on your ass.
But you know what, Brad? Here's the situation.
Did you zero in on your ass?
My husband recognized the fact that I was overweight, but that didn't measure the consistency or the love or the
that's a lot of baloney. What we're talking about here is whether
Why is that a lot of baloney?
get out of with the love stuff. I'm talking about whether your fat is hanging off your butt when you're jogging down the street like a bowl of Jello, for crying out loud.
Oh, well, then, you know what? My husband didn't have to jog. Normally when you're over 40 and 50 pounds overweight, Brad, believe it or not, you can't jog.
Do you know what
you can't jog? You have to walk. You know what? I didn't jog. I didn't jog.
Did you shovel butter?
You know what? You are really. You know what?
Wait a second. You shovel butter.
I think Colleen needs counseling because
what are you asking this lady?
Put up with you.
I want to know.
You've seen her verbally like this.
Wait a second.
No, I didn't shovel. I never shoveled butter.
You never
I
shoveled
never
sour
stuck
cream.
up any spaghetti. And
wait
yes,
a second.
You know what?
Wait a minute. How could you be 100 pounds?
Personality you have.
No.
You know, what are some of your vices,
It's
Brad?
confrontational, and I know that it hurts. Did you shovel the ice cream? What did you shovel?
Why don't you say just eat?
All right. Did you eat ice cream by the quart?
No, I didn't eat ice cream by the quart.
About a half gallon?
No, it just depends on your metabolism as well, Brad.
Did you drink whole milk?
No, I didn't drink milk at all. I can't drink milk. I'm allergic to milk.
When you drank, did you guzzle?
No,
You didn't guzzle or shovel?
You are amazing.
Wait a second. Did you guzzle or shovel?
You know what?
Guzzling and shoveling.
I see. I'm getting through to her because she understands what I'm saying.
You know what? Because
she spent a large portion of this young lady's life was spent a large portion of her life shoveling, guzzling, and siphoning.
You know
now
where
she's
my
into
weight
that period
came
of her
from,
life.
Brad. Let me tell you where my weight came from. I had a set of twins, Brad.
A set of twin what?
I had a set of twins.
What?
I gained 60 pounds.
Twin what?
During my
kids.
pregnancy.
She had twin kids.
Oh.
I gained 60 pounds during my pregnancy, and until my children were about a year and a half old, I had, over the course of about a year and 5 months, gained 100 pounds.
Oh, my God.
I am down. I am down 80 pounds and 30 pounds to go, and guess what? When I was 100 pounds overweight, my husband never treated me any different than I was when we first got married. You know what, Brad? I really feel sorry for Colleen.
Phil Henry Show, 1-800-449-8686 with construction contractor Steve Bozell from Corona, California. Interesting, I suppose it's interesting that your work and the books that you've written, the papers that you've been involved in, just the different things that you've done medically, have, is he even on the phone? He's not even there. I'm talking to a guy that isn't there. Okay. When you get him, you get me ready to fly with him, right? Let's see if Dr. Green's on the line. Hi, Bob, you there?
Yeah, Phil, I'm right here. I'm sorry I lost you. We're coming from the airport, and we've got a little bit of intermittent static here, so I apologize. That was my problem. I was holding, and then we lost you.
All right, no harm done. And I was sitting there babbling. I thought I was talking to you, and I wasn't. What I was saying was that you are. We've talked to you in the past about the relation between men and women and the sexes, and it's not the battle. You've never found it acrimonious.
No. I think that what we've done in our studies and our work points up similarities between men and women more than it does the differences. But we have seen and continue to see an eroding a little bit in terms of the sexuality of men with relation to women. Women are empowered, Phil. They are stronger today than they've ever been socially and politically and sexually. And in relationships, they've never enjoyed more equality. So they have become a very empowered gender, and they've become a very empowered people, women. That's the good news. The bad news is that they are increasingly, I think, separated from a realistic perception of men's needs and men's sexuality.
All right, well, you have men, and the old joke was the guy who was sensitive to the needs of the modern woman was himself a little emasculated, right?
I don't think that's true. I think a lot of men are trying to be understanding of women, but I think women are less and less understanding of men. That's an important aspect to remember. Men today are feeling more and more threatened, I think, and men are, in some instances, reporting feeling violated. I think men finally have the courage to say, and in my book, we are, I think, courageous in pointing this out. I don't know of any other guy who has really put this in print, that men feel violated sexually.
All right, now the book that Dr. Green's referring to is a book called Don't Go There, which is a book about the emerging feelings of violation among men sexually. We talking about rape?
I wouldn't call it rape in the classic sense, but I would say it is a very meaningful feeling of violation when women are giving a man oral sex, when women feel the need to give a man oral sex. And this is the specific area that we're talking about.
Why the area of oral sex?
Because most men and most women are completely unaware of this fact, but most men do not like getting oral sex from a woman. It is painful. They feel vulnerable. They feel violated. Obviously, women, I noticed the phone sound effect dropped out there.
Yes, it did.
They feel violated. They don't have the courage to tell a woman this. But most men feel completely and utterly raped when a woman performs oral sex on them. And I think it is high time that women finally understood this, get with it.
Now, there are a lot of guys who obviously are moved to some kind of an orgasm during that.
That is correct, and that is a involuntary response. In many cases, you've heard of women faking orgasms. Men are capable of doing the very same thing, Phil. And
would you call that a faked orgasm?
Oh, absolutely. Men can fake an orgasm, and I've talked to many men who have felt so violated and so absolutely threatened and vulnerable when a woman is performing oral sex on them that they will fake an orgasm just to get her off of them, so that they don't have to go through the humiliation and the horror of it. And I will say, Phil, I've worked with a lot of patients, a lot of male patients, that we are facing a generation of men who are feeling thoroughly raped because of the empowerment of women, and that women are now taking advantage of men sexually.
We're talking to Dr. Robert Green. This is some explosive stuff in your new book, Don't Go There. Dr. Robert Green, who makes the claim in his book that most men feel violated when they get oral sex from women.
Men are coming home, Phil.
No, I wanted to ask a question here concerning that. See, I am, I think, a healthy guy. I don't think that I've ever had these feelings.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in other words, I've never had the feeling that I'm being violated by a woman in that instance, my wife, for instance.
I understand that, Phil, and repressing a lot of these feelings goes back to the womb. It goes back to infancy. You are being violated. If you don't feel it, rest assured that it's happening to you.
What do you mean about the increasing sexual empowerment of women? Are you talking about that women are being aggressive sexually?
Well, women are assuming the dominant role in sex. More and more women are climbing on top of their men without any feeling of sensitivity toward the man at all. They climb on top, they grunt, they're done, they roll off. This is the modern American woman, and while she is enjoying her empowerment as a business equal, as a professional equal, she is certainly, I think, running the risk of severing her emotional ties to her man.
So the sexual empowerment of women has turned into the sexual aggression of women, and they are now, and again, we don't want to use this word, but they're violating their men. When they're giving them oral sex, yes. Women need to know, and we say so in our book, and more men are coming out. Dr. Blunin, who works at the University of West Virginia. What is his name? Dr. Blunin. Okay. He has written several papers on this. Women need to know this. Men can't stand it when they get oral sex from a woman. We feel raped. We feel violated. We feel vulnerable. It is torture. It is living hell, and it's got to stop. It has got to stop. I've had men come into my office in tears, telling of the night before when their wife or their girlfriend performed oral sex on them, and the feeling of horror and revulsion that came over them, just closing their eyes and praying that it would end. I've had men in our workshops, Phil, in our seminars, say to me directly, I didn't know what to do, I just held on to myself and hoped that it would end. We're going to take back the power in the bedroom, and the first thing that we have to let women know is we can't stand it when you perform oral sex on us. Most women don't even know how to do it. Most women are pathetically bereft of any ability or skill in that area, and it's time for all men. Well, let me interrupt here. Are you saying that most men don't like a woman giving them oral sex? You're just saying that women aren't good at it. In other words, if women were good at it... What I'm saying... No, but if women were good at it, would we like it? Well, the women, we don't like it because women are not good at it. They can never be good at it. It is a violating act. It is a horrific act of violation. Why would a woman be, quote, good at something that is only intended to humiliate? Giving a man oral sex. That's right. I got to tell you something. I don't... Am I completely... You're saying that I'm separated from my feelings? You're denying them, yes, sir. Because I don't feel that way, but if I am not feeling that way, there's a door that I need to open inside of myself? Phil, there are many doors that we as men need to open up, and one of them is to admit to ourselves and admit to our wives, get your mouth away from me. I don't like it. It hurts. I help men learn to stand up to their wives and say, get your lips off of my penis. And okay, we don't need to, please, okay? I'm very sorry. Because we don't want to be graphic, all right? But the point being, I think the point has been made. I'm very sorry, Phil. All right, but I think the point's been made. But that's our motto. Get your lips... I got that, okay, but I just don't want to do it on the air if at all possible. Let's go to San Antonio on the Phil Hendry Show. Hello.
Dr.
Yes,
Dr.
sir.
Green?
Yes, sir.
I think you're so full of crock. I tell you what.
Sir,
my wife gives me
I've done studies on this, and
Doctor,
I've worked with a group
respect.
I've worked with groups of men.
My wife gives me oral sex, and I can't think of a more intimate expression of her love to me. I love when she initiates.
I think you're brainwashed. I think you're brainwashed.
No, sir. Hey, I'm 44 years old. I'm not 13. I love when she does it. I love when she initiates it. I think your book, I think you need to rewrite that thing, go back to school and get your and go over your thesis. You're crazy.
I have talked to
Dr. Green, you haven't talked to me and the thousands of people in San Antonio. I love oral sex by my wife.
Allow me to finish
my point. I love when
she
initiates. It totally excites me.
You're being violated.
And you are being violated. It's just wonderful.
You're being raped and violated.
Oh, my God.
Yes, sir.
I want to get raped some more.
I'll tell you what. Yeah, go ahead. Well, sure. You're in captivity, and you get the Stockholm syndrome.
Oh, hey, you're missing something, pal.
Yeah, no, I'm not missing anything.
This is rape. I need some more.
I'll tell you this much, sir. I've dealt with thousands of men across this country in focus
groups and seminars. Well, they're probably all fags, sir, because I thoroughly enjoy it.
Well, then you thoroughly like being abused by women.
Oh, hey,
you thoroughly
it is enjoyable.
Then you thoroughly
Mr.
like
Green,
being
it
emasculated.
Is enjoyable.
Well, why don't you just get into your wife's high heels while you're on the subject?
No.
Yeah. Why
She's not here. My wife's not here.
Why don't you just
she
go ahead and get into a dress?
But I'm telling you, I don't know where you went to school.
Get into a dress.
They need to recall.
Wait a minute. What this man and I've said to you both, we enjoy this.
And what I'm trying to say
Phil,
to the two of you...
Hold on. What are you saying?
What I'm saying to the two of you is, you have been so thoroughly brainwashed that you think that violation feels good.
Hey,
and buddy, I feel sorry for you. I feel sure, okay. Just like that guy, in Pulp. Yeah, I know.
I don't know how many books you're going to sell, but it ain't going to be to me.
Just like that guy in Pulp Fiction who they bent over and kept giving it to him there. Yeah, you're just like that guy.
Yeah, Pulp Fiction.
Just like the guy in Pulp Fiction.
That's right.
But I know
Go see Pulp Fiction. Go see Ving Rhames in Pulp Fiction. You're him.
No, you go see
You're him.
No,
you're him. You're him.
All right. Thank you very much. 1-800-449-8686. Dr. Robert Greene is on the line with us with an explosive new book called Don't Go There. And in it, he claims that men, when we receive oral sex from our wives, we are being violated, and that it is an act of violation and rape. What is that, Doctor?
I think that
Yeah?
I just think the two of you are examples of weak men who let women control them. And I think it's a sorry, sorry day when a man gets on a radio show anywhere and says he likes getting oral sex from his wife. What a sad, sad case.
Okay, I'm willing to hear the doctor out. 1-800-449-8686. Phil Henry Show, 1-800-449-8686. And with me is Dr. Robert Greene. He's written the book, Don't Go There, which is essentially an indictment of the sexual empowerment of women. In this book, he claims that the ultimate form of sexual violation is a woman performing oral sex on her man. Now, you have to understand, Doctor, most men enjoy...
Phil, first of all, I know most men enjoy it. I've heard men say that they enjoy it. This is not unusual. This is not anything new. I know that most men enjoy it. What I'm saying is that you're being violated. And I'm saying that in your mind, you think you enjoy it. But in point of fact, you hate it. You feel raped. You feel...
Wait a minute. When my wife, for instance, with all due respect, sorry, Maria, but I have to... if she were to... let's just say, for instance, she were to perform oral sex on me, okay? You're saying I hate that.
Yes, your superconscious hates it. You hate the way it feels because you know it's a violation. It doesn't feel good. It feels foul. You feel befouled. You feel... When a woman puts her mouth on one of the most private parts of your body...
All right, I understand that.
Then you know that she has you under her control. And therefore, you hate it. And what I'm trying to do is let women know that guys hate it and you're not fooling us. We can't stand it. See, what happens, Phil, is a lot of men identify, as women do, with their abusers. You've heard of that?
Yes, sir.
All right. Men are no different than women. We identify with our abusers. Women have been performing oral sex on us for years. And we now, all of a sudden, take the punishment. Night after night.
I understand. Corpus Christi on the Phil Henry Show. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am. You're on the air, ma'am.
You know,
Ma'am, you need to turn your radio down. That's the first rule of talk radio. Turn that radio down. There you go.
Is that better?
That's it. Because that confuses you.
You know, I think we're talking about 80%, even more so, of the male population.
Identifying with the violator. That's what I'm talking about.
This isn't, it's not a violation. Oral sex is...
You are the abuser, so how would you know? You're a member of the abusive sex.
Well, you know, guess who asked us? Guess who opened our eyes to that? Guess who said,
wait a second, you're not going to hang that one on us. You're going to tell me that men said, yeah, please, rape me, violate me. Perform oral sex.
Men have asked to be raped? I don't think so.
Yes, you have. When a man asks you for oral sex, he's asking for you to humiliate and violate him. It hurts when you do that to us. Are you aware that it physically hurts us?
Wait a second, I got to jump in. I'm a man.
Phil, you're identifying with your abuser again.
Do men really care?
Phil,
is she doing it right?
Phil,
is it hurting or whatever?
This is a woman. She is going to lead you astray. This woman is trying to keep us down. Don't listen.
Well, wait a second. When it happens to me...
I know you think it feels good. It's actually horrifically painful. Ma'am, Ma'am?
I'm listening.
When you perform oral sex, say, on your husband or your boyfriend, you might as well just be peeling the skin off of his penis.
Oh, come on, man. It ain't that bad.
It ain't that bad, but you know it is bad.
You've obviously had some very bad experiences.
No, not at all. Every man feels this way.
You know, it took me to the age of 45 to discover real good sex.
Really, how to really violate a man,
huh? It doesn't even have to do with oral sex.
You were 45.
But it has to do with the fact of pleasing your man.
You didn't know how to really abuse a man until you were 45, huh? Good God.
You're not even listening.
I'm listening to you, but you're going to give me the same song and dance I've heard from millions of women. Oh, my man likes it. He is laying there praying for it to end.
Isn't it about please one and one pleases the other?
What?
Isn't sex a two-sided effort?
Yeah, and so far men have been doing all the giving and women have been doing all the taking.
And
I would suggest that you learn how to please your man instead of torturing him with your horrific oral sex. Quit torturing your man.
I don't think sex has everything to do with just oral sex, but
when you give him oral sex,
if that's a part of what pleases him,
it doesn't.
And I tell you what, and if he did not like it, believe me, I think as a man and any man,
you're doing it wrong.
Will sit there and tell you,
you're using your teeth
not
a lot.
This.
You're using your teeth, aren't you? God, I hate that. I really hate it. My ex-wife used her teeth.
Well, you said it right there, ex-wife.
What do you mean? What did I do?
Well, maybe she didn't know how to do it.
None of them know how to do it. None of them know how to do it. And that's what bothers me.
Is there a book on how to do anything?
Well, lady, I'll tell you something right now. If you want to get good at that, quit doing it the way you're doing it, because you're killing us. You're killing us. He doesn't say anything. He wants to be polite, obviously. Maybe I've got a suggestion, okay?
Well, I bet you know what.
I have a suggestion. No, seriously, I got a great idea.
Right behind me.
Here's a great idea.
I told him, would you please turn to the radio station because I want you to hear this.
I think you should practice on me, and we'll see how good you're doing. Okay? Your opinions on this man's dilemma, because he feels, or at least thinks, that his wife and other members of his family, namely one of his sons, were disloyal to him. Was this a summer event, sir?
No, Phil, this was something that happened 2 weeks ago. We were the friend of ours, next door neighbor of ours.
And you were where?
We were in Newport Beach, California, and we were there to...
thing in the world when she's still using her teeth too much.
Hold on. Phil Hendrie Show, 1-800-449-8686. 1-800-449-8686. We're with Dr. Robert Greene, who's written a book, Don't Go There. And basically the essential point of this book is that women have been inflicting on men something that they weren't aware men were not enjoying, oral sex. Most men feel violated when a woman performs oral sex on them, but they don't know it.
I'll tell you right now, Mr. Hendrie, and I'm getting into some personal areas here, but when I have been the recipient of oral sex from a woman...
Are you married?
No, I am not married. I'm single.
Okay.
When I've been the recipient of oral sex, it has been very painful. It's just... all I can tell you is the teeth. And it's hell. And we use... in our practice, sexual surrogates. Are you familiar with this?
I'm familiar with the term, yes, sir.
What a sexual surrogate does is she helps a man through the process. I tape record a lot of these sessions so that you can know what it is these men are going through. Here's a tape recording right here. This is of a patient. Oh, wow! Ow! All right, that was recorded last Tuesday night. And
was he the recipient of oral sex?
Yes, he was. Yes, he was. Men can't stand it. And you're not even backing me up. You're sitting there, the host of the show.
I'm trying to understand is all, okay? I'm trying to understand, because I'm like a lot of guys, as you've been calling us, we're brainwashed.
That is it exactly.
I don't like oral sex.
No, you don't. But you don't know it yet.
All right, 1-800-449-8686. Here is High Springs on the Phil... Whoops, sorry. Hold on. High Springs on the Phil Hendry Show. Hello?
Hello there.
Yes, sir. How are you?
I'm fine. Mr. Green,
It's Dr. Green.
Dr. Green, I want to know how you proclaimed first to be a doctor, because you couldn't.
Well, I took my degree in internal medicine, and my doctorate. I took my doctorate in human sexuality from the University of Indiana.
I just heard what you were talking about with this guy that was in pain.
Yes,
Who's
sir.
giving him this? You?
I
know lots of guys. I know a lot of women.
You know lots of guys.
And you know something? There ain't near one of the guys I know that do not like it.
Well, let me ask you a question. What are you doing talking about this with
How do you say that a person is brainwashed? You either like something or you don't like it.
No, I'll tell you why. Men have been brainwashed
if you don't like
into believing...
Wait,
hold on.
If you don't like to get head...
The empowerment of women, the sexual empowerment of women over the last 30 years has created a feeling of vulnerability in men. We feel that we have to take pain... Hold on. I'm the one with the doctorate.
Now, if you don't like it...
I'm the one with the doctorate. You listen.
If you don't like something, why would you go out and keep getting it? Could you answer that?
What is your question?
If a man doesn't like it, why would he let somebody do it?
Why does a woman keep going back to an abusive man? Why does a woman
because
stay
they
with an
like
abusive...
it.
There you go. They like the abuse.
No.
It is abusive, and they like it. Why does a woman stay with a man? Why does a woman stay with a man that beats her? You can't answer my question, can you? You don't know how to answer my question. I'm the one with the doctorate, not you.
Yeah, well, where did you get your doctorate?
I told you.
Out of a magazine?
No, sir, at a university, an accredited
university.
At accredited University of Indiana.
Accredited what?
University of Indiana Medical School.
Comic book?
I attended Yale University for my accreditation and full doctorate. Now,
how do you spell that?
Yale, okay? Look it up. They used to play football.
Yeah.
Now, sir, I will tell you this much, that the woman stays with an abusive man.
All I can say is,
a woman, you don't like getting head.
I've been getting
You
this
don't
stuff
like
for
getting
years.
head. No, you haven't.
I'm telling you.
No, you haven't. You've been getting what?
The head, Bubba. The head.
Yeah, from what? Men or women?
Women.
All right. We don't have to get insulting, okay?
Well, this guy is trying to tell me.
You're trying to tell me recordings of a guy last Tuesday night. How do you... who was performing this thing? Dracula or what?
Whoa.
And you say they don't know how to do it. Who knows how to do it?
Wait a second. What are you inferring? That I was the one giving him head?
You were recording it. Were you not recording it?
Mister, apologize for that right now.
Yeah, no. I'll apologize.
Come on, apologize.
That.
How dare you say...
Wait a second. Who's giving a Dracula? That's a good one, sir. I like that.
How many people are going
to
sit there, let somebody give them head, and have somebody else there and record it?
We do this for a sexual surrogacy clinic.
Hey,
okay? I'll play it back for you. Sir, I'm telling you right now, this was a woman performing oral sex on a man. Listen to this. It's horrific.
Hey. Yeah. But what's she doing? Was that Lorena Bobbitt or what, I mean, you're
okay, did you hear that?
Don't know how to do it.
Bob, turn off the
I'm going to tell you what.
Did you hear that? And that is a man.
Yeah, I heard it. And you know something? I think that you get women that, you pay women or something like that to bite on somebody. That's about what I think
Mr. Henry may think
you
it's
go
funny.
out there and you rent some hooker.
You know something?
And you say, look, I want to do this for a study. But here's some money.
Mr.
And
Henry
I want
may,
you
Mr.
to
Henry
make it the
may
most
think you're funny.
thing in the world
My
for this
clinic
guy.
helps men. My clinic helps
your
men.
Clinic?
Yes,
Where's your
sir.
clinic?
In Los Angeles, California. My clinic helps men
all right.
overcome
I know where
bad
you're
oral
getting your
sex.
stuff. You're getting your stuff right down there in Hollywood, aren't you?
Oh boy.
No, that's what I think you're doing is getting no boys. I think you're getting boys.
Hang up on this guy, Mr. Henry, because he's pissing me off.
Not with women.
You're starting to piss me off.
Oh, well, geez, what are you going to do?
I'll come through the phone.
Huh?
I'll come right through the phone.
Yeah, I bet you probably could. I'll bet you dial them 900 numbers. And surrogate your own self. Because,
surrogate
any
my
man
own
that
self?
says that he doesn't like it, hey, there might be some that don't.
Mr. Henry,
but
tell him.
Majority of them,
I can't
majority
honestly.
of the men,
I have to agree with this man. I have to agree with this man.
Not them flaming faggots like you know.
I've had some of the world.
Let me tell you something, Bubba. Real men that do like it. the people that don't like
had
it,
some of
and
the
if
worst
somebody
oral
goes to give it
sex
to
on
them, they say,
Sunset
"Hey, look,
Boulevard. I'll tell you that right now.
I don't go there." Is that the name of your book? Don't go there.
Yeah, don't go
well,
there.
let me tell you something.
I don't like it, huh?
If I don't like something and somebody's going, I'm married, but
you are. Boy, I bet
yes,
you're
I
getting
am
the worst
married,
head in
and
the
my
world.
wife does.
All right, we got
and she does know
Thank
how.
you, sir. I got to
And
take
you know what? I don't feel threatened about
Thank
it.
you for your call, sir. I thought he was.
You're laughing at that guy.
No, I thought he was pretty funny. I thought some of the things he said were funny. Tustin on the Phil Hendry Show. Hello.
Hi.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm calling because I just cannot believe, is this guy a joke? Is
Ma'am,
this for real?
I have worked with some 10,000 different men across this country over the last 4 years. Men are in
I
hell.
want to say this, that
They're in
I'm a
hell.
woman who really never really enjoyed doing it very much.
Well, there
my
you
husband begs me. No.
Probably
My husband
dragging your
begs
teeth along
me,
that thing.
He begs me to do it.
He begs you to
me.
abuse him. Begs you to abuse him, even though you're lousy at it. I think that is a sad story.
You know
in your
what?
home.
You know what? He said he never enjoyed it so much until I've done it.
Sure. He never enjoyed. You know, the Christians love to have themselves thrown to the lions. They never enjoyed it so much. Women like being beat up by men. They never enjoyed it so much.
You know
and
what?
There
you know what? I
and there
came
you
from
are.
an abusive relationship, so I totally disagree with you.
Wait a second.
You are
Why would
off
you
your
stay in
rocker. I mean,
Why would you stay in an abusive relationship?
You mail us a degree. I mean,
Why would you stay in an abusive relationship?
I'm not in an abusive relationship.
But why did you stay in
I was a long time ago.
Why did you stay in it?
I didn't the first time anything happened. I left. So you're totally off your rocker.
No, man. You
know
know
what?
women
It
who
depends
stay
what
with
kind of
abusive
woman
men.
and man you're talking about.
You know the girlfriends you've had who've stayed with abusive men and you couldn't get them to move out?
Never, not one.
You are the abuser, dragging your teeth along your husband's penis. Why, I would all the...
Okay, hold on. Whoa. You're going places we can't go on the show, Dr. Green. You understand?
Go there either.
I understand that, but she doesn't
I'm a woman who's never called a talk radio
Listen
show.
to this
I'm
call.
listening to you in my car. Absolutely, my mouth is to the floor. I cannot believe that you actually have some kind of degree.
I am telling you that my book and the research I've done, men hate oral sex.
Well, no. You know, I think, here I am. I am a very intelligent woman. I have a master's.
So you say.
No. Listen to this. Maybe you're talking about a very small percentage. I'm certainly sure there are men out there that do not like it.
No, all men.
But for you to speak, and as a person who's doing scientific research, how can you say everybody? You are.
I'll prove it.
You're
I'll
wrong.
prove it to you. Mr. Henry. Wait. Mr. Henry?
Yeah?
Don't you hate oral sex from a woman?
No, you know what? I happen to think that he doesn't because he's not answering you.
Mr. Henry, don't you hate it?
Well, I don't know. I mean, he's telling me that I'm denying.
I said to tell her.
Yes, I hate it, man. I don't know what to say.
You know what?
Listen to her laugh. Isn't that
sir,
listen
your
to the witch
problem as
cackle?
a scientific researcher,
You're
your
cackling
problem
like a witch.
is that even when somebody's telling you what it is that they prefer, you're telling them what they don't. You're abusing him by telling him
you don't know what
you're talking about.
Ma'am, you know what denial is. You've seen it, I'm sure, in your life.
You're
because
in
you're
denial.
So I'm not in denial,
You're
okay?
You're in denial. Open your eyes. Not everybody in the world
in my
feels the way you
last
do.
Tuesday night. Listen to this.
Wow.
That was
not
a man.
How my husband
that
sounds.
was a man receiving oral sex from a hooker off of Sunset Boulevard. I doubt if you can measure up to that. Okay, and listen to what was happening to him.
You know what? It's called love and compassion and intimacy.
Let me ask. I have a question to ask.
You don't seem to know anything about.
Dr. Green, I have a question. Are you sure you're not talking about the oral sex that you've gotten?
What's that crack supposed to mean?
I mean, what about you? Have you ever enjoyed it?
I told you I've had some of the worst experiences.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
You're talking about yourself.
Yourself, not me, not this lady's husband, not anybody. You're talking about you.
Well, I'll tell you, I can't get a good Hummer to save my life.
Well, you know what? That I feel sorry for the women that you date and the
You feel
women
sorry
that
for
you
them.
marry.
Why don't you feel sorry for me?
Huh?
I'm the one that can't get any good oral sex.
Well, you know what? I feel sorry for you then.
Thank you.
No,
Jesus
I really
Christ.
do. For all the men out there that don't enjoy it, I think they should let the woman know. Speak your mind
And then go
not
find
have it
another
done. I
girlfriend.
mean,
and then find another woman.
Find another woman or don't have it.
Can you?
You're acting like we are
I just want to ask you a
whipping
question.
you and
Well, where am I-
torturing you. It's ridiculous.
That scream that we heard.
Yeah?
Who was that?
Mr. Henry, I don't think...
Who was that on the tape screaming?
It was me.
You know, maybe you just have a problem. maybe that's the thing, is that you want everyone to join your bandwagon, and your bandwagon, you know, your little red wagon that you're pulling along, it's empty, dear. It is totally empty. And you're trying to get someone to agree with you, but listen to all these people. They're all laughing at you.
I hate both of you.
Oh, he hung up.
Oh, my God.
He hung up.
My first time calling, and I actually got someone to hang up.
Got the guy to hang up. Did you hear the last thing he said was...
I ruined your show.
No! The last thing he said was, I hate both of you, and he hung up.
Okay.
Oh, he's gone. Let me get rid of him. Thank you for your call,
sure.
ma'am. Thank you very much.
Bye.
So it was actually him screaming bloody murder. Did you hear that one cat from High Springs? Oh, who's doing that? Dracula? Okay. Phil Hendry here, 1-800-449-8686. Phil Hendry Show. I was just sitting here thinking, and I will say it. How can you not listen to this show? How can you not? If you missed it, you missed it. I'm not going to go into it. How can you not listen and love this radio show? Forget about me. Just the stuff that goes on. I don't know. It's funny, and I guarantee you, it's funnier than anything going on in your town. I'm sorry. It is. I know it's funnier than anything going on in this town, L.A., because, as you probably have heard me say so many times, we've reached a real pathetic... We want to talk to a gentleman who's been hanging on. This is about family loyalty, and I'd like to get your opinions on this man's dilemma, because he feels, or at least thinks, that his wife and other members of his family, namely one of his sons, were disloyal to him. Was this a summer event, sir?
No, Phil, this was something that happened 2 weeks ago. We were the friend of ours, a next-door neighbor of ours.
And you were where?
We were in Newport Beach, California, and we were there to go boating with my friend who has lived next to us for about 10, 15 years. We have become very close to him and his wife. Our kids are close to their children. And we have enjoyed vacations with them in the past. But what happened this last time that we were out with them, I thought, sort of kind of commented on loyalty to my family as opposed to, whether the families stick together. And I know we live in a time when there's so much disloyalty and there's so many dysfunctional families as a result of that.
You feel this is a loyalty question?
Right.
Well, now, I understand you went boating at Newport Beach with this next-door neighbor, right?
Yes, sir. Jack Weimer. Who is,
I really wish you wouldn't use any names.
Well, I will tell you that he does know who he is and has been up until this incident, I think, a good friend of mine, but did invite us to go boating. This was in Newport Beach. It was on the weekend, early September. When we went down there, he has a runabout boat, which I think is called a Sea-Doo, or I'm not sure the exact name of it.
Well, it's one of those little tiny runabouts. How many people's at sea?
It seats 5 people.
Yeah, that's like a Sea-Doo.
All right. Well, we went down there. Now, he invited us to go boating. I'm very safety conscious. I think everybody should be safety conscious. I know two people very close to me lost their lives boating, so I do believe in safety, and I don't think that's a bad lesson to impart to his son. And I guess I would ask you, do you think that's a bad lesson to impart to his son? Good safety on the water, and I'm sure you would say no. And
no, it's a great lesson to impart to any child to be safe, and certainly we have enough accidents year in and year out to bespeak the need for that.
Well, that was my feeling. We left the dock at Newport Beach, which was the place where he has his boat slipped. And I know that at Newport Beach Harbor, and you can ask anyone that lives there, you can also talk to the Harbor Patrol there or talk to Coast Guard or the Navigable Waterways, that it is a 5-mile-an-hour limit, and it is a no-wake zone. And that means specifically that you may not create wake that can endanger or otherwise cause hazard to people on the shore and other boats. And I reminded him of that. My wife and my son knew this. We went out on a boat. This was with Jack. He is divorced, so he had his son with him. I had my wife and my son, and of course myself. And
now you're taking off from his slip?
That's correct. He has a home down there. We left. And I, again, reminded him that this was a 5-mile-per-hour zone because he's got a boat that you can open it up pretty good out in the open sea. And I did remind him again that this was a 5-mile-an-hour zone that this was a no-wake zone. Certainly we didn't have life preservers on and life jackets. I reminded him as he pulled away from the dock. We got approximately 75, and I took some notes. We got approximately 75 to 100 yards away from the dock. I was checking the rear of the boat, the stern of the boat, to make sure there was no wake. And
well, you were afraid that he was going to break the speed limit.
Yes, sir. What I was doing is maintaining some look at safety. I wanted to make sure that we were safe. He moved the boat 100 yards off the dock. I looked. Now the boat kicked up to a higher speed. It's a 5-mile-an-hour speed. It kicked up to probably about 7, 8 miles an hour, and I did observe a noticeable wake. I turned to my right. I looked behind on the stern of the boat, and I noticed a noticeable wake, at which time I had to make a split decision. It was my decision at that time to exit the craft and to exercise some kind of caution and safety. So I jumped from the boat.
Now, you jumped from the boat?
That is correct. Now, my wife and son, who I love very much, are still with me. Are still in the boat, I should say. I have exited the boat. I have jumped as I noticed the wake.
Okay, Steve, you wanted to make sure that there was safety, so you jumped out of the boat. How fast was it going?
The boat was, at that time, was probably going about, it was in a no-wake zone as a 5-mile-an-hour limit, 7 or 8 miles per hour. But you have to understand something. When you were dealing with safety and you were dealing with the safety of other people, now, my wife and my son did not exit the craft. I had to make a split decision, and I made a decision based upon safety. I bailed.
So you bailed out?
Yes, sir, I did.
You jumped out of the boat, and you're in the water.
And I was in the water, and now what happened was my wife and son did not bail. They stayed in the boat, and now what happened was something that I will never forget as long as I live. I'm in the water. Mr. Weimer now begins circling me, and there is noticeable laughter coming from the boat. They have raised the flag up, as in diver down, and they are purposely mocking me. My wife is laughing. My son is laughing. Mr. Weimer and his son are also laughing at me in the water. Now, I made a split decision based upon safety.
And now, these people did you say they're circling you? You bailed out, right, because you saw a wake.
I did notice that I made a split decision based upon safety, yes, sir.
And the wife is laughing.
Well, my wife is there. Now, Mr. Weimer is a divorced man. He is I suppose in some people might say he's a rather exciting-looking man. He likes an exciting life. My wife is laughing. My son is laughing. And here he is impressing my wife and trying to impress my son and trying to make me look foolish for making a prudent call on safety, exiting that craft when I felt it was no longer safe to be in that craft. And my wife is laughing. My son is laughing. Now, that's what I call disloyalty, and that is what I told my wife and my son later on, that this was disloyalty. Now, this is a no-wake zone, a 5-mile-an-hour zone. There are safety considerations. When he got it up to past the 5-mile-an-hour limit, Mr. Andrew, you have to understand.
No, I'm listening to you. He got it past 5 miles an hour.
And was creating a noticeable wake. I made the split decision based upon safety to exit the craft.
All right, so you jumped out of the boat, you're in the water, and now he's circling you, and they're all laughing.
That is correct. And that is the kind of disloyalty I'm talking about. Now, I got back into the craft, and we got back out toward the jetty at Newport Beach. At that point, when we got to the jetty at Newport Beach, he stops the engine, he turns around, and he says to me in a voice loud enough for my wife to hear, because keep in mind, this is a divorced man. He's with a woman who now, in my opinion, was trying to impress. And he turns around in a very audible voice, and he says, "Would it be all right with you if I go faster than 7 miles an hour?" He said that to make me look foolish. He said that to embarrass me in front of my wife and son. And obviously did that to impugn my need for...
All right, so he got out there and he said, is it okay with you if we go faster than 7 miles an hour?
Obvious attempt to make me look foolish and to mock my concerns about safety. Well, we got out there.
Well, I got to tell you, did you feel that you were in danger?
What I'm saying to you is that I have a safety concern. Now, he opened it up, got up to 10 or 15 miles an hour, and again, I could see noticeable wake. It was white capping that day. I did bail out again. My wife is laughing again. My son is laughing again.
All right, so what we have here, I don't mean to interrupt you, what we have here is you have safety concerns, correct?
I have obviously with your wife and son you do.
Okay. he created some wake. You bailed out of the boat once. You've jumped out of this boat 2 times now.
Based upon my concern for safety, yes, sir.
And in the meantime, he mocked you by saying, is it okay if we go faster than 7 miles an hour?
He did directly mock me, and he made me look foolish. And when we got home, my son said something to me that I will never, ever forget. He used the word that I will never, ever forget. When we got home, my son referred to me as a pussy, at which time I will tell you, sir, that I took my belt to him.
And well, your son was laughing because I guess they thought it was funny that you had these safety concerns, huh?
Well, not only that, but he was empowered by this man to refer to me as a pussy. Now, my wife is up there in the boat having a beer. She's laughing. She's slapping him on the Jack Weimer on the back. I'm in the water. They got the flag up because of my prudent safety decision.
You bailed out of the boat. Now, this is after you bailed out of the boat the second time when it was going 15 miles an hour out in the open sea.
That is correct, sir, yes. At first, I thought pussy was a good thing, but my son has made it sound obscene by referring to his father as that. And I will tell you, sir, I took my belt to him. And that's what we're talking about when we talk about loyalty, especially with a divorced man and your wife in the boat with him.
All right, hold the line here, Steve, for just a second. At what point do you suspect your family of perhaps being disloyal? And more to the point, at what point do you think your wife is being inappropriate with another man? A gentleman on the line with us tonight was at Newport Harbor, out boating. He felt that there was unsafe speed being attained. He bailed from the boat. He bailed from the boat again. He saw his wife and his son laughing. Now, we do have to mention, sir, that when you bailed out of the boat, it was going, 7 miles an hour?
It is a no-wake zone, sir.
And no, I understand it's a no-wake zone, okay? But
you have to understand that is unsafe boating. I would not take a chance like that. I made a judgment call because he was creating a wake. He was going fast 5 miles an hour. I made the judgment call. I had to bail. And I felt that I knew it was now or never. I had to bail. I felt my wife would do the same thing.
Your wife did not do the same thing, and then when you were out in the open sea, you bailed out again, and she was laughing, right?
No, she was laughing. She was slapping Mr. Weimer on the back. They were having a beer. They were having a good time. They were circling me. They put the diver down flag up like it was a big joke. They made the crack. Is it okay if I go faster than 7 miles an hour? All of this bespeaks a disloyalty on the part of my wife. And then my son says to me, Dad, you act like a girl. And I will tell you, mister, that was like a blow to my gut when he said that to me.
Dad, you act like a girl.
That is exactly correct.
All right, let me go to Shadow Hills on KFI AM 640. Hello?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Well, I got to say, I think that probably jumping out of the boat is a pretty unsafe thing to do.
Well, that was a judgment call.
Okay, well, the 5 mile zone is made so that you don't make wakes and disturb the other boats that are docked. I'm certain that the boat you were on...
Well, whether I was right or not, I made the judgment call based on safety.
Okay, but so your whole point is loyalty here?
My wife is up there with my son laughing at me.
Well, what about your wife and kids? If you felt it was unsafe, why do you leave them on the boat?
I made a judgment call.
Well, what about
Wouldn't you say that's panicking? Isn't that panicking, leaving them there?
Absolutely.
They have all been schooled in proper safety. I've certainly fully expected them to follow my lead.
Don't you think it would have been probably a better reaction to the situation to go talk to the skipper and say that...
I told him, no, I had talked to him. I had said, sir, you got to be mindful of the speed. You have to be mindful of the no-wake zone. I had spoken to him.
You had spoken to him well before you left the dock.
I had said it's a 5 mile per hour no-wake zone. And he immediately began to push it. I made a judgment call. I bailed.
And so you rolled out of that boat. How did you bail out?
I did a roll. I rolled off basically I was wearing a life jacket, so I made a safety roll, what they call a safety roll into the water.
All right, here is Foothill Ranch on KFI AM 640. Hello.
Yes, if anybody was disloyal here, it was you, sir, to your family. You thought first of yourself.
No,
you
sir.
didn't think anything at all of your family.
No, sir. I made a safety. It was a safety move that I made.
You didn't make a safety move. You made a selfish move. You were looking to save your own butt.
Well, they
rather than worry about your own wife and family.
Unsafe boating conditions.
Qualify as a girl. Your son was right. He was dead on.
So you don't believe in boating safety? You don't believe in boating safety?
To learn to watch after your own family, to watch after him, rather than to watch after yourself.
You want me to grab them and throw them in the water? Is that what you want me to do? I scream for everybody to jump as I hit the water.
Absolutely. If you were that concerned about safety, you should have
them in the water. I said to them, I screamed for them to jump, okay?
Hold on for a minute. What did you do?
I screamed for them to jump as I was rolling out of the water, as I was rolling out of the boat.
What did you say?
I said, everybody, we got to go, bail.
That's like running away from a fire going, oh, fire, fire, but I'm going to save my
so what would you do? What would you do?
I would have put them in if I was that concerned about their safety, I would have made sure they were safe before I was safe.
I yelled, bail, 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 and then I did a safety roll.
Yeah, that's your story
okay,
now.
mister, if you don't care,
5 minutes
okay,
ago.
mister, if you don't understand water safety and navigable waterways, I
own 3 boats. I think I understand water
safety. I don't care if you own 3 boats. I've seen a lot of people own boats. They wouldn't know that what end is up on a boat. It doesn't take nothing to buy a boat. It takes something to know a little bit about boating safety. And when I yelled bail, I hit the water, did a safety roll into the water. Yeah, you laughed.
Yeah, thinking only about yourself first.
I was thinking about my family.
That's, I think, what a lot of people are saying. Well, you know, your family is up.
My family was up there laughing at me. Okay? At that point, I will tell you, and God forgive me for this thought, but I thought, if they're going to laugh at me, I hope that boat has a gas leak. I'll tell you that. You've seen those TV shows where the scuba guys fall backwards into the water, correct?
Yes, sir.
I did a safety drop. And
no, wait a minute. You fell backwards into the water like a scuba diver?
That is basically a safety drop, yes, sir.
How fast was it going, sir, when you bailed out?
I believe they had broken the 5-minute barrier.
Yeah, but how fast?
I do not know, sir. But there was a wake. It was creating a noticeable wake. And at that time, I did a safety drop, which is a basic scuba drop. And you sit at the stern of the boat and basically just clip your nose to try to keep the water out, and you drop off the back end. I said to but as I was going over, I was telling my family, bail, bail, bail. I remember very specifically saying, bail, bail, bail. Then I realized I had no more time. I clipped my nose and did a safety drop.
So you bailed out?
Yes, sir, I did.
And then you bailed out again when you were in the open sea. How fast was it going then?
Well, at that time now, he was starting to cook it up. It was probably going about 10, 15 miles an hour. At that time, again, I made a judgment call. Again, I remember saying specifically, bail, bail, bail. But basically what you do is stop, hold, and drop. You stop what you're doing, you hold your breath, and you drop into the water. That everybody knows about boating safety. Stop, hold, drop. And that's essentially what I was trying to do.
All right, let's go to Marina Del Rey on KFI AM 640. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
How you doing?
Fine.
First of all, this guy is wrong, man. There's no such thing as no grab, no nose, and drop and bail on a boat that's going 15 knots. The only people that drop off a boat are divers. I live on a boat. I'm down in the marina for 12 years. I live on a boat. I never heard nothing like that.
Well, sir, are you do you have a sailboat? Do you have a powerboat, or what do you got?
I had both of them. I got a sailboat now, but I had both a sail and a powerboat.
Well, I had to make a safety call.
You didn't make a safety call at 5 knots because your boat wasn't going fast enough.
No. He had broken the 5 knot.
Well, the wind only comes up between 8 and 10 knots.
Well, sir, I'll tell you, then he was creating a noticeable wake, and I said...
Now, let's keep in mind, you're in the harbor, you're on a sea-doo...
But the captain of your boat, you're the captain of your boat, right?
I'm the captain of my boat, yes, I am.
All right, you're supposed to go down with your boat if it sinks. So I can understand...
It sink coming off a slip like that unless it's got mechanical problems.
No, but what I'm saying is, I bailed out. I wanted my wife and son to bail.
No. Did you have a life jacket on when you bailed out?
Yes, sir, I most certainly did.
Well, you bail on a boat that's going... You get on the back of the boat and you flip right by the propellers. That's a nice way to get caught up in the prop wash.
Well, no, sir. I will tell you. Now, you're the captain of your boat, correct?
Yes, I am.
All right. You know, in the navigable waterways, if your boat sinks, you've got to go down with it.
No, you don't.
What?
No, you don't. You put yourself in jeopardy like that?
Because that's what If your ship sinks, you stay with
You're dead wrong. Well, you are supposed. You don't have to go down with your boat.
Well, mister,
navigable waters are in the open sea.
Well, mister, you can't be any captain.
I am a captain.
You are. My understanding, Mr.
What do you mean you got to go down with the boat?
My understanding.
You have to go down with the boat.
No, sir. My understanding is that you are supposed to lash yourself to the tiller.
No, you don't. No.
Wait a minute.
A captain's main concern.
You're the captain of your boat?
Of his crew.
The only time I think you're the captain of bullcrap, okay?
No. You're wrong. I'm the captain of a sailboat. I've been through storms.
What's the name of your boat? Bullcrap?
Both coasts.
Is it the SS Bullcrap?
No,
because I'll tell you.
SS Bullcrap. I know what I'm talking about. Don't sound like you know what you're
This is a man who lives on a boat, okay?
Well, then how can he tell me he's never heard of a captain lashing himself to the tiller?
Man, you watch too many movies. You do not do that. Your safety is to the captain's safety is to the crew. That's the first thing you do. When you jumped off that boat, you put the captain and everybody else in that boat in jeopardy. But what if they have to stop and come pick you up?
What if he's traveling at an unsafe speed?
It's no such unsafe speed. Depends on the ocean.
Well, no, we were in the bay.
You were at unsafe speed. You don't jump off a boat. Not in the middle of a bay. Newport Harbor is about a mile and a half. No, it's about 5 miles to get to the jetty. I sailed out of Newport.
Sir, may I ask you a personal question? I don't mean any offense by
Sure.
You sound to me like a gentleman of color.
I am.
I didn't know y'all were on sailboats.
Right now, yes, we do. We sail.
What are you talking about?
A lot of black people sailboats.
One of the guys who broke the round-the-world sailing record was black.
Yes,
I had no idea.
Well, what are you talking about, man? You know, Africa is surrounded by water, okay?
Well, we got to America. We didn't fly. We came on boat.
They did not fly to America. They came on a boat.
You passed the test?
Passed what test? I've been here, right?
Okay, there you go. You don't know that.
Just get back to your boating.
Well, if you don't know what the test is.
What test?
If he didn't know what the test is, then he didn't take it.
Well, you got to tell me what the test is. Got something to do with boating?
No, sir, I don't mean to be offensive, but you all float okay, don't you?
We can float.
Will you get out of here with that idiotic crap? You all float.
Well, I'm sorry. I don't mean the gentleman. I wanted to ask a question. That's all.
We float. We swim just like you do.
Okay.
All right, I'm sorry.
Like the whole said,
all right, sir, I'm sorry.
By water.
All right, sir, I'm sorry.
You ain't bothering me.
No, what do you think, though, when I went out there and he turns around and he looks at me and he says, if it's okay with you, we'll go faster than 7 miles an hour.
Well,
to make me look like a fool.
About you. I've done that, too. You asked the guest, look, are you comfortable? He was basically asking you, are you comfortable? Because he saw you were a panic button from the first part. If it was me, I would have turned the boat around and put you back on the pier.
Put him on the pier because you can't have any fun with a guy that's bailing out at 8 miles an hour.
Because you're putting the captain and everybody else in jeopardy.
So now you think I look like a fool?
Well, I think you made yourself look like a fool jumping off a boat that's going 5 knots, 7 knots in the water.
I made a safety decision. I did the full hold, stop, and drop.
Here's the point right here. You guys got up to the jetty, and the boat went up to 15 knots, right?
Sir, I felt we were going down.
Okay, you say you had white caps out there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, if you had white caps on a power boat that's going 15 knots, the boat is pretty stable. You feel some bumping. That's still no reason to jump off. You're a panic button, man.
Well, sir, I made a decision. I felt the craft at that time was going down.
How can the craft be going down? Power boats don't go down. I assume it was a power boat, right?
Power boats don't go down. Hello, the Titanic? I think that was under power.
See, I hit the iceberg. Was you looking for iceberg out there in Newport Harbor?
Sir, all I'm saying to you is I have safety concerns. An iceberg in Newport Harbor? I don't know.
Sir,
wait a minute.
Safety concern, but you know what I think?
I needed to eject. I had to push the eject button.
You hit the eject button, and you did the wrong thing. You don't tuck and roll off the back of a boat going 15 knots in choppy water. If it was nighttime, they would have never found you. I assume you're white, right?
Yes, sir, I am.
Well, they would have never found you at night the same way they would never found me. So you don't fall off no boat in choppy water 15 knots.
Doesn't matter what color you are at night, they won't find you.
Well, okay, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. I didn't want to offend the gentleman. I understand that you're a boater and you must know. But if you're telling me, you're telling me 15 miles an hour. I felt the craft was in danger. I knew the captain had to lash himself to the tiller or whatever it is they got to do.
The captain was on the bow, on the stern wheel of that boat.
What the hell?
There's no tiller on a power boat.
All right, well, he was on the helm.
He was on the helm.
What, the guy's in a Sea-Doo. He's going to lash himself to the helm of a Sea-Doo and go down with it?
My understanding is that's what you're supposed to do. Now, this gentleman says that's not true.
No, that's not. Well, how many boats you see in Newport that day lash themselves to the tiller and go down with it? You don't even do that on a sailboat. Sailboats are the only boats that have tillers on it.
Well, I don't know. I must be. I seen a movie one time. All right, you're right. Yeah, okay, I've seen
Hollywood.
I've seen a movie one time where the captain had lashed himself to the tiller. Only the boat had not sunk. It was just...
That was some movie. He probably did that to impress some girl.
What movie was that?
It's not the real deal.
It was. I think it was
Dracula. Don't jump off no boats when they going...
Did you ever see Dracula?
Don't jump off no boats, man.
No, I just want to ask you, did you ever see the original Dracula?
No, I haven't.
Okay, in that movie, Dracula come up, suck blood out of the crewman.
What?
Are you okay?
Oh, hold on.
He's crying or something.
In the movie Dracula, just stay with me. Dracula come up out of his box, sucked all the blood out of every man on his boat, and the captain lashed himself to the tiller.
No, man, that was a movie, man.
It's a freaking movie about a vampire.
Well, then why did he tie himself to the tiller?
In the movie. You can't... Well, that's a sailboat. See, now you're talking two different boats. There's no tiller on a power boat.
There you go.
There's no tiller
why did he do it?
Power boat.
He lashed himself to the tiller so that the boat would keep going because Dracula sucked the blood out of him. What are we talking about Dracula for? We're talking about a Sea-Doo in Newport Harbor. Sir, thank you very much. You own your own craft, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, and you are in Marina Del Rey?
Yes, sir.
What about the head?
The head?
Yeah.
I got a head and a shower on here.
All right.
Thanks very much.
You're welcome.
1-800-5201-KFI in Orange County, 5201-KFI in L.A. County, Palm Springs on KFI. Hello. Palm Springs. Turn your radio down.
It's down. I've been a water ski instructor for several years now, and absolutely under no conditions whatsoever should anybody be exiting a boat while it's moving.
Even if it's unsafe conditions.
I'm sorry?
Even if it's unsafe conditions.
Unsafe conditions. The boat is built for people to be in it when it's moving. There's no unsafe conditions on a boat unless the thing is on fire or upside down.
Why do they have speed limits? Why do they have no wake zone?
Speed limits and no wake zones are designed to protect the other boats in the harbor or people that might be around in the water if there's a swimming area.
Have you heard of the
Not for people to be there. And besides that, if you're in a no wake zone, you shouldn't be out of your boat anyway. No wake zone is also a no swimming zone. You shouldn't be swimming.
I understand it, but you got to be swimming. If you feel it's a safety concern that I have to do stop, drop, and roll,
then you're on fire.
No, sir, I'm not on fire. What are you laughing about?
Yeah, when you stop, drop, and roll, you're on fire.
No, sir.
You're not going to stop, drop, and roll in the middle of the water.
I said stop, hold, and drop. I'm sorry.
Stop, hold, and drop.
Yes, sir.
Unless you're a Navy SEAL, I don't understand what
I'm talking about is when the craft had exceeded 5 miles an hour, all bets were off. I made a stop, hold, and drop.
Okay.
And I yelled at everybody to bail out.
My question
now, if you say you're a boater, I don't know what you said. You're a water ski instructor?
Yeah, I'm a water ski instructor.
Do you know what the navigable waterway rules are for a ship that is going down? Should the captain go down with the ship?
Should the captain go?
What are you laughing about?
Let me tell you something. Maybe in the movie time.
If you want to die and go down, if you love your ship that much, I mean, if your car's on fire and you're driving down the freeway, are you going to stay with it?
You know something? Let me apologize. I like being alive.
I do too.
I like living.
And the safest place for you to be and to be alive is going to be in the boat.
In that boat, unless it's.
I guarantee you.
Well,
the most unsafe position would be to exit the boat while it isn't moving. It's moronic. It doesn't.
Well, I'll tell you, I made a judgment call based on safety and the speed of the craft at that time. I felt that my wife.
What safety are you concerned about? Then?
I was worried
that you should be.
I was afraid the craft was starting to break up.
The craft was what?
I was afraid that the craft was starting to break up.
It's going 8 miles an hour.
I was afraid at that time with the wake it would begin to break up. What are you laughing about, man? I don't like people laughing at me.
Look at pal, it ain't gonna break up at 8 miles an hour.
You tell me.
The boat is not going to break up. It was designed. I think a Sea-Doo was designed to go.
And my wife having beers with Jack Weimer. What do you think of that?
Yeah. See, now that's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Laughing at me and having a beer.
I would expect my wife to go have beers with somebody else.
I did stop, hold, and drop, and she's sucking a beer up there, waiting to go down on with the boat. She said she was going down.
Yeah, they did throw the flag up when you exited the boat, right?
Yes, sir, they did.
They did throw the flag up.
Yes, they threw a flag up.
That is a safety concern for you, is it not?
Well, yes, and I appreciate it, but they were mocking me when they did that. But my wife stayed in the craft having a beer, and I don't know.
Honestly, it was a pretty unsafe move that you did.
The craft was breaking up, and as I was floating in the water, I saw...
Did you see pieces of the craft flying off?
Did I see what?
Was there pieces of the craft that were...
I wasn't going to wait around. I wasn't going to wait around for that.
You weren't going to wait around.
Okay. Thank you very much. Sir, how are things at your home now?
My son called me a girl. I beat him with my belt.
So you beat your son for calling you a girl. You know, my suggestion is stay off of boats, okay?
Well, I think my wife's having a beer right now with Jack Weimer, so I got to go next door now and find out what she's doing.